The Miss World South Africa competition is set to make a comeback for the second time. Carol Bauer, who's the president and license owner of the pageant, says the competition's objectives are empowerment, leadership and purpose-driven young women. And this is to ensure that women's voices are heard on a global scale. Now, the Miss World organization, which has been running for more than 7 decades, is well known for its beauty with a purpose initiative raising funds for causes that support disadvantaged and disabled children. Ms. Carol Bauer joins us in studio. A good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Naledi.
I can think of so many young women who are so excited to see you on their screens right now. You know, I thought initially when I found out you were coming, I thought, what a time for pageantry in South Africa.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
We're back here again. I remember growing up and thinking every time there was a pageant and a woman that was going to be appointed to represent us on a global scale, we were glued to the screens.
Absolutely.
We're back there again, aren't we?
We are there again, and I think it's because of a multiplicity of things. I think that in the last couple of years, the world has crowned women who are worthy of emulating.
Yes.
They've crowned women who stand for something, who are able to articulate issues that we can relate to as everyday South Africans and everyday citizens of the world. So it's exciting to be a part of this. It's a world I know very little about. All I've ever done in pageantry prior to this was to host and to judge. So it's great to have a license and to be able to be part of the transformation.
I don't think anyone would argue that you're not the right person for the job, though, because obviously, you know, there's the idea that we and the fact that we need to, you know, bring forward this poised woman of integrity to represent our country. So I think definitely people agreeing that you're the right person to do that.
Thank you, Melody.
So talk to us about how we're doing this, how you're doing this, right? Miss World South Africa, and also then where this beautiful young lady will be heading off to.
So I cannot tell you where she'll be heading off to, because I think that's a carrot that the Miss World organization sort of, you know, they dangle it every now and again in order to get us all excited, to look forward to where this all happens. The one this year took place in India, and we did very well as South Africa in our first outing. We had crowned Dr. Claude Mashiko, who represented South Africa and did the most incredible job. I was talking yesterday about how the number of competitions that take place as a lead up to the finale. So we sent her off to India for a month, and throughout that month she participated in a plethora of events and she placed in so many of them, and I think that says a lot about the quality of women that we send out as South Africans. Going back to what we're doing, we are in preparation for our finale in South Africa. It is taking place at Sun City. I'm excited to be going back to the home of pageantry. I mean, when you think the Super Bowl, you think pageantry. And I mean, I've had, I think, about 2 iterations of, you know, going out and presenting a local pageant there. And 30 years ago, at Sun City, I got to be part of the presentation team for Miss World, and that's how I met, the first time I met Julia Morley. So it's exciting to go back.
Incredible. I think about, for instance, the kind of stories that we've been telling about South African women on a global scale. There's a sense that people are watching what comes out of our country, right? What do you think that is? I mean, what do you think is the thing that sets our young ladies apart from the rest of the world?
I think that there is something that sets South African women apart. You know, if you go back to, we were celebrating, you know, the Beijing Declaration 2 years ago, and when you look back at the role that South Africans played in even coming out with the papers that came out of Beijing, we have always been part of important conversations that move the needle forward, not just for feminists, but for women generally in the world. And I think that many South African women have also gone out in the world and played important roles that show that we have something to say. We have leadership qualities that are unquestionable. I think of Ayanda Dlodlo, who's at the World Bank at the moment. I think of Dr. You know, Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, who led women, UN Women, in such stellar way that it stands solid today. We knew nothing about the organization prior to her ascendance. And if you look at even, you know, people see us as competition. I don't think we are. There's Miss South Africa. There's also Miss World South Africa. The young woman who was crowned at the Miss South Africa recently she started a whole conversation about inclusion that I think people had begun to forget about. So a lot is happening, and South Africans are at the forefront of that, and it's exciting.
So the young woman who wins on the 5th of October in Sun City will represent us at Miss World.
Absolutely.
The pressure.
The pressure on the organization. I mean, we're a young organization, and we were learning as we were going along. I mean, for me, what was really beautiful is that you begin to realize that you're really transforming lives. You know, when I was getting Claude's ticket to go to India, and I'm having conversations that are sort of, you know, making assumptions. She knows certain things, and she says, Mama Carol, you've got to remember that this is my first time going overseas. I was like, what?
Yeah. Life-changing.
You are changing lives, and you are really pushing people towards what is their destiny. I mean, when you meet her, you know that she's a born leader. You know that she's going to do well in the world. And the role you're playing is you're just nudging them along and making sure that it does actually happen faster.
I just think about the difference in these young women's lives. I mean, a lot of them having a story about, well, a year ago, my life was, you know, what I'm going through right now, completely unimaginable. The event itself, right? There's always the, you know, the glamour of the event, and everybody watches and wishes that it was them on that stage in those dresses. Talk to us about the preparations, because the 5th of October is very, very close by.
It's tomorrow, and that is the reason my eyes look the way they do. I think the big thing about it is that, as much as for me it's a transformation platform, it's a platform in order to groom future leaders, it is important that we don't lose the glamour, we don't lose the fun element. So we're bringing in a few very exciting names that are going to make sure that the excitement is there. You know, I mean, I remember when Tandazo opened last year with a song that every young South African knew. They felt immediately connected to the show. I don't know if this is the time to reveal. I have a big, you know, channel meeting where all of these things are going to be played out. But all I'm saying is that please go onto our website to find out who's performing. The one thing that I'm very sad about, I know everyone's looking forward to having Minnie Dlamini as our presenter, because she signed on for 2 years.
Oh dear.
Unfortunately, there is a lot happening at the moment, and she's not able to present this year. But an exciting name is going to be announced after the meeting that I'm going to after this.
Give us the website.
www.missworldsa.com. And of course, if you could please follow our Instagram page, where these amazing finalists, 10 young women from across South Africa, highly, highly dynamic, educated, keen to lead, keen to take up the mantle. And, you know, we were with them with Dr. Esther Mahlangu yesterday, and I was listening to them talk to her about everything that she's done to make it possible for them to be where they are. I mean, one of the young girls said, you know, you walked so that we could run. And I thought that was so beautiful. So please go to our Instagram handle, Miss World South Africa, and that's where all the information is being disseminated. And I promise, immediately after this meeting, everything shall be shared.
MissWorldSouthAfrica.com, that's the website. Go ahead and follow the Instagram page as well. And on the 5th of October, we will be crowning another face to represent South Africa on the global stage. Thank you so much for joining us.